So the director of Psycho Goreman has a new movie out, and let's just say it's not an A24 film. Let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a new Fantasia film that just aired called Frankie Freako. And it's a Steven Kostanski written and directed film. If you're not familiar with him, he's the guy that did Psycho Goreman. He helped do one half of The Void. He's also a special effects makeup artist and does a lot of things behind the scene, including editing and everything. He's a creative type and he makes some pretty wild movies. And I have to say that I've been a fan of his for a long time. If you don't remember, he even did one of the last entries into The Leprechaun, which I actually thought was pretty damn good. And it seemed to fit his style. This movie? What the fuck? Now, I just gotta say, tomorrow morning, I'm actually going to be interviewing Steven Kostanski about this movie and maybe even about Deathstalker, so we'll talk about that. Be on the lookout for his interview. It'll be like a 15-minute interview soon. If you get a chance, check it out. But yeah, I really like this film. It's a really wild concept, and Steven Kostanski likes to go into his like childhood a lot of times and like pick things that are just like really weird about it. The 80s and 90s had like this weird thing about it where they were always like making things that would be innately fucking creepy into like, you know, childish fun. Like what would happen if kids all of a sudden were suddenly in the He-Man universe? What would happen? Would it be as fun as they make it seem like in the commercials? Probably not. This is a movie about a workaholic yuppie by the name of Conor, who's basically kind of boring, and his life is not so interesting. Even his wife thinks so. Even his boss thinks so. And one night, while sitting in this existential rut of wondering whether or not he's actually an interesting person, he decides to call a hotline called Frankie Freako, which is a bizarre party hotline hosted by a goblin by the name of Frankie Freako. And things go freaking crazy when 3 goblins show up in his house and start tearing everything apart. But just like most 80s and 90s films, maybe this is the spice that'll make his life better. But yeah, it's bizarre, man. Like this, as soon as you see these goblin things, it is insane. And it gets a little adult too, because it's not just geared for kids. You know, it's definitely got some violent nature to it. Things happen in the film that are a bit extreme, but they still kind of keep it in that sort of kid vein to kind of make it feel like something that kids shouldn't be watching, but you know, we want to watch. I had a lot of those movies growing up, and I think they really made a big impact on my adult life. And I think that's what he's trying for here. First of all, we have like nostalgia all over the place. There's the hotlines. We used to have hotlines back in the day. They even make reference to a hotline that is horror related. I won't spoil that. There's references to all of these little tiny creature films in the movie, like all over the place. Some of the goblins, like different things that happened in the movie. Hell, I think I even saw a Roger Rabbit nod in that movie. It was a blast. Like, this is gonna be some like silly humor. And if you've seen Psycho Goreman, you kind of know what to expect as far as the humor goes. So if you're in line with that style of humor, I think you will like this, but I want you to lower your expectations on the gore aspect of it because it's not as bad. But it is still strangely and weirdly perverse as far as the nature of actual creatures that live in the real world being very weird, okay? That's not a normal thing, and this movie really kind of exploits that in a lot of ways. And I swear to God, one of the creatures, which is on the cover here, I swear it looks like Mickey Rourke.
Don't be a wise ass, motherfucker.
I could be wrong. And there could be a lot of like, you know, things in this movie that could be nods to something. I get vibes of Puppet Master, Ghoulies, but I can't help but feel like this is a Garbage Pail Kids movie that we wanted because it's so adult. You know, like the Garbage Pail Kids movie was not so good, but it kind of reminds me of that. And Kostanski kind of takes all these nostalgia things and then crams them into his own particular ideas while paying homage to many different spots in the film. But it is a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I would give this probably like an 8 out of 10. It is definitely something for me, and the humor may not be for everybody. And I want to be clear, this is a movie that's going to have acting that isn't exactly realistic. It's done in a way that like a commercial would be done. An over the top, overly kind of dramatic, weird, nobody really cares about certain things kind of way. It's a world that you're being brought into most of all. It's a very different movie than like Psycho Goreman's. Just know that going in. But yeah, this movie just premiered at Fantasia Film Festival, so it is going to be coming out in the near future. I see on IMDb that it's coming out October 4th. I'm not 100% sure as to who, but I did see that Shout Factory's name was attached to the trailer. The Raven Banner, Shout Factory, and Hangar 18 all kind of collectively worked together on this, so it could be coming out on Shout Factory at some point in time. Now, this isn't a horror movie, but it is a like action comedy fantasy movie that I think will appeal to horror fans, especially those who are Garbage Pail Kid fans. So very glad to check it out. Steven, can't wait to talk to you. But yeah, guys, let me know, are you excited about this? Do you want to see a movie about weird goblin creatures that take over this man's world? Steven Kostianski said he wanted to keep it in a very Evil Dead 2 format where some guy that shouldn't be a hero is and has to stop something in a very condensed location. And I think we got that. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you think. And thanks for watching and following along this Fantasia Film Festival. But thanks for coming by. And as always, long live the void.